Is it just the raising of the hands in jama'ah, along with the imam, which everybody knows clearly Prophet ﷺ didn't do that? Or is it just the raising of hands by yourself? If you just, as an individual, not in jama'ah, but after every prayer you raise your hand, that is also bid'ah. Because we have no evidence that the Prophet ﷺ raised his hands after every prayer. In fact, we have other evidence that he didn't. So for you to make it a regular practice, after every prayer you must raise your hands in dua, you have made a bid'ah, an innovation. Now if you do it on occasion, the mood catches you, you feel like it, you raise your hands on occasion, no problem. But when you fix it as a ritual, after every prayer you're doing it, now you have innovated. From the sisters? Yeah, after this, next session. Sister's question concerning the sunnah of doing and the sunnah of not doing, where I stress that this is in matters of religion. The sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ was to not eat dab, which is a desert lizard. It was served, people ate it in Arabia. It was offered to him, he didn't eat it. That was his sunnah not to eat it. But we are not obliged to follow that sunnah, because that was his personal dislike and he said it. Right? So where the Prophet ﷺ had a personal dislike, we're not obliged to follow that. Or where he had a personal like, for example, when he went to the marketplace, he wanted to get a pair of sandals. He chose a particular style of sandals. One which had 2 straps, made from cow's leather, reddish colored, from Yemen, with the hair scraped off. You can find this description of his sandals in Shama'il at-Tirmidhi. Now, is that deen? Is that something that we as Muslims should try to follow? No. It's not required of us. That was his personal like, and that's what he chose. We're not obliged to follow that. That is not considered a part of the deen. Of course, some people in ignorance, there's a book called Shama'il at-Tirmidhi, translated originally into Urdu, from there into English, which was around. I had a copy of it, where the author, after looking at this hadith, the hadith compiled by Imam at-Tirmidhi, scholar of hadith, describing the sandal of the Prophet ﷺ, he in his commentary went on to explain the benefits from the sandal. If you drew a picture of the sandal, you put it under your pillow, this is going to happen for you, and that is going to happen, and hey, we say, where did this come from? Where did this come from? Right? This is where a person has gone off. Right? So, if we take those things, which are personal preferences of the Prophet ﷺ in day-to-day life, which has nothing to do with religion, and we make it a part of the religion, either we are making bid'ah, in that we're offering these other rewards in this way, as people did, or we're making the religion restricted to certain parts of the world. Because if that was from the Sunnah, and this is preferable for us to do, then what are we saying about the practice of this for the Eskimos? Now if they were to choose a pair of sandals with 2 straps and go out, in the North Pole there, they would get frostbite and have to have their legs amputated. Now we're saying basically they can't get the reward of the Sunnah. No. The Sunnah, where it has to do with religion, this is something applicable universally. Those things which are personal, you will find them limited to particular areas, particular periods of time.
You didn't use this term, but what is the appropriate meaning of Rafida, and who are they among Shia?
Well, the term Rafida was applied by scholars to those who rejected. Rafida from Raft means to reject. Those are the rejectors, right? Rafida means reject. And there was disagreement which developed amongst some of the descendants of Ali from Hussein, in which one of the sons went one way and one of the other sons went another way. Those who rejected the way of one of the sons became known as the Rafida. This is what they use it as one of the terms, because those who rejected and went along with the other line, these end up in practical terms to be those who are known as the Twelver Shiites, the mainstream Shiites. Rafida really applies to the Twelvers, although some people take it to mean the extremists amongst them. But in general, really, it refers to mainstream Shiaism as we know it. Ithna Ashriya is the Twelvers, meaning they follow the 12 Imams.
Brother, please correct me if I'm wrong, that this At-Tahiyyatu that we read in Salah, isn't it the conversation that took place between Allah and the Prophet when he was visiting him by the Salah?
Well, that's news to me, sister. I don't know if you have a hadith on that, to that effect, which is authentic, then we can say that's the case. I have never come across such hadith. Not that I've come across every hadith that there exists, but I don't know it. If you can bring it, then we can look at it. Okay, our sister clarifying that this explanation is from books written in Urdu where there is no evidence for it. Inshallah. Did you ask a question before? Okay, go ahead.
I wanted to ask a question about the ending. So, say you were like you said, you were like these little Quran things, and say you were like these little pendants or like the Prophet is that considered like a sin?
Okay, brother's asking if a person wears a pendant which says Allah or Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or it has Ayatul Kursi, we could say even. I have some pendants like that. Ayatul Kursi is etched on it, right? Is this considered shirk? Well, it depends. If you believe that in wearing this it will protect you, then yes, you have entered into shirk. But if you are wearing it because you feel it is jewelry, it looks attractive and you like it and you're wearing it as an accessory, right? Of course, as a man wearing it around your neck, this is questionable anyway, because then you're starting to look like women, right? That's another issue, right? Men wearing chains and stuff like this. This is considered imitation of the dress of females. But for a woman wearing these things, if she's not believing that this is going to protect her in any way, then it's not considered to be an aspect of shirk. Alaikum salam wa barakatuh. Okay, I didn't say don't raise your hands when making dua. Please get this clear, right? I didn't say that. I'm saying don't make it a regular practice. What I'm saying is sometimes you may raise your hands while making dua, and other times you make your dua without raising your hands. This is the point. Let us not feel that the only way to make dua is you must raise your hands. This is not the case. You can make dua without raising your hands. Right? So this is what I'm saying. The making of dua also during the time of sujood. This is the time Prophet ﷺ recommended this, or times when duas are accepted. One may do so in the salah at that point also.
You know, I come from a community where the culture, the predominant culture, they revere their dead, you know. And so at the end of the salah, they ask the imam to say something, and then he says something like, you know, in Arabic, and everybody prepares that. I mean, and then he says something else, and I mean, is this okay?
The idea after prayer, you know, to ask people to pray for the dead. Somebody has died, they're asking to pray for the dead. The idea of prayer